Hello YouTube, it's Joe Donohue here bringing you a double diecast review. I've recently come across in Walmart stores a street version of the Ford GT, and thanks to one of my good pals, his name is David Land, you might know who he is. I have an unboxed version of the race car as well to do a comparison review on. We're going to start with the race car because race cars. So, this is the packaging, and it's what it is. I don't know, I mean, Hot Wheels cost $1, so I don't really expect great packaging skills, but, you know, we all know Hot Wheels packaging quite well. So, let's look at the car. We start with the white version. There's a blue version, and I actually have it. It has different wheels and different interior color, but still plenty cool. I just realized that this one actually has some decal defects, which is very uncommon to see with Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels usually does a good job with quality control. Anyway, so the Hot Wheels Ford GT came out last year, but is now redone for a reproduction in white. You can see that they've accentuated everything they need to do, especially one of my favorite parts of the Ford GT. If you look in there where my finger's pointing, there's a hole, and the real car has it. You can see it on the box right there, that little hole of the street car. Yeah, so the sides go in, and there's this little wing. I think it looks kind of like a wing. It's cool, but that wing is there to accentuate the shape of a real Ford GT from the old days. And with the big freaking diffuser and rear wing, looks quite realistic. Now it's time to crack out the new Ford GT street car. What's funny about Hot Wheels was they did make the street version of the Ford GT, but it was very hard to find, and I mean very, very hard to find, and still not an easy car to come across, but the race car actually became more popular, quicker, and easier to get than the actual car, which is kind of interesting. Yet again, straight out the box, we have a decal error, which is, as I said, pretty rare to find on Hot Wheels, although these two cars don't show that very well. There's occasionally an error or two within Hot Wheels, but for some reason these two have fairly easy to see problems. So let's look at the street car. We've got the right shape and everything. This one is yellow with black stripes. The decals look to be in order with the headlights and the Ford logo here. The back end is actually, if you look inside here, you can see that it's closed off. That's a filled-in gap. Now, you can't say that the Racer does the same thing because the Racer doesn't have that wing there. It has a big rear wing. But the biggest thing I want to point out about this car, before we truly compare the two of them, is that the wing here is actually a part of the car and there's no hole. As we've shown you, there's supposed to be a hole in the bodywork that is not on this street car. So, I do believe, and I am correct, that the insides of these cars are a separate plastic piece, which, yeah, as you look at it, you see that this one's white and this one's yellow. And that's kind of peculiar considering the inside of the interior of a car is not yellow, and they're both the same colors as the outsides. In terms of wheels, the first generation of the Ford GT in stores had had the 5 spokes like this actually. So the street Ford GT has the same wheels as the old blue version of this race car. And yes, these two are different molds, which at first glance I was curious to see if they were the same mold with a couple slight modifications. And I mean, it probably is a slight modification all the way, but there are a lot of them. There's the front end here, Got these two little winglets on the race car that aren't on the street car. There's exhaust here, not here. The rear wing obviously is very different, and this car actually has a hole as opposed to the street car that doesn't. There's actually more body work around the engine in the street car than the road car. I just now saw that, and so they're not the same mold, but still very cool. The Ford GT is a cool car, and in general it's good to look at, and a good add to your collection for if you want to do racing or street cars. But out of the two, I think that the GT car is a little bit better quality produced, and it looks a little bit more realistic. And I say that predominantly because there's no hole, as I've said multiple times here. But those are the two Ford GT cars. They look pretty similar, and they do look very good together. It's a good combination of street to race car, and I think that this is the first time the Hot Wheels has ever really gotten that correct with having the street car version and the race car version truly looking as good as they do and compared so well together. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed learning more about the Ford GT Hot Wheels cars. Remember to like, comment, rate, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.